guys, so welcome to another video. So what I'm going to do today, first off, I'm going to post your guys' orders, and then what I'm going to do is we're actually going to start working on the Fiesta. So that is what we're going to do. That is the plan today. I'm going to go and get a power steering pump, and I'm also going to go and get some power steering fluid and an O2 sensor, and that sun is ridiculously bright that side. So which car shall I go in? The 350 or the VXR? I think I'm going to go in the VXR. That sun is ridiculous. Right guys, so I've been and posted all that stuff. I've gone to the scrapyard. I was going to add this in of me going to the scrapyard, but I don't know if you guys want to see that. So you'll have to let me know if you guys want to see a bit more of that in this series. So basically what's going to happen in this is, I'm going to, through the video, obviously like I mentioned in the previous video, if you haven't seen that, link is in the description for the diagnostics. But what's going to happen in this video is, all the way through this series, I'm sharing with you guys how much things cost to repair the car and how much we sell it for. I've paid nothing for the car, as I mentioned, but what's going to happen is, the end of this series, once the car's gone and sold and everything's fixed, we are then going to see if we can move up and see how high we can work up the ladder just by doing this with the one car. So we're starting off with a Mark 6 Fiesta. We may have to do a few lower cars first, maybe 5 or 6, you never know, and then we'll see where we get to, you never know. So what we're going to do now is, you're going to see down in this corner of how much things have actually cost, and then what we'll do at the end of every video, we'll do a summary of the total of everything that's the parts and such have cost so far, and then obviously when we see the final video, you'll know how much profit we've made. So this is something that me and Jack are going to share with you. I'm on my own for this one today. Jack may come along later, but he is quite busy. So first off, right, we have got a power steering pump which I went to the scrapyard for, when I can get the bag open. So I'm not going to get it out of the bag in the VXR, but as you can see here, we should be able to reuse our own hoses and such. So we've got the pulley attached to this already. It's got the power steering fluid on it, so that's why I'm not taking it out of the car in the VXR. So this was 20 quid down in the corner. So that is also 20 quid already that we've spent on the car to try and get it fixed. This may not fix our issue, but it's one of those things where we're going to have to try, and I have actually just got power steering fluid all over my seat. Nice, tasty. So the other thing that was the issue was the engine management light. When we plugged in the the OBD reader, it said that the O2 sensor was gone, or the heater control circuit. So I've gone ahead and bought a O2 sensor. This was actually £38.52. So this, so far, is the most expensive part. If this doesn't fit, I should be able to just take it back anyway, so if this doesn't fix that problem. However, I'd rather replace stuff on the car till it gets fixed properly and then sell it, obviously knowing that everything's been done properly as well. So what I'm going to do now, obviously, again, power steering fluid. I think these was, let me just double check. Yeah, so these was £3.45 per bottle, so we've got 2 of those. So that's how much that is. So far, we're talking about £60–65, somewhere around there. My maths isn't great. I'll do that when I edit it. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start either replacing the O2 sensor or the power steering pump, depending what time I've got. This may be recorded over a few days because obviously there is a few parts on the car. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do the O2 sensor and the power steering pump in one video. It depends how long the videos are. I don't want them to be too long, because attention span and all that. So I'm going to jump straight into it and I'm going to start replacing either the O2 sensor or the power steering pump, whichever I decide. Right, so guys, the first things first, with the looks of this, we're missing a cold air intake from here to here, so that's another thing on the list. But what the first thing is to do when you are working with fluids is obviously drain the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain the power steering system, which is here. I've already took the lid off, don't worry. But the power steering pump, you'll see, is just there. You can see the pulley right there. This right here is a power steering pump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack the car up and double check. I've never changed one on this car before, so I'm going to check everything obviously before I proceed. So like I said, jack it up, axle stand it, and I'll get back to you. Right guys, so right here is the power steering pump. So as you can see, it's on the belt. So what we're going to do straight away, remove this cover. It's a bit awkward to show you. You've got one up there, looks like you can use a flathead, You've also got one up there. That should loosen that to bring that down. You've also got this cable attached, so bear that in mind. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to record as much of this as I can. I can't promise everything, right, because obviously it's a bit awkward when I'm on my own to record things in such tight spaces. But I'm going to try. So I actually used a T30 piece to get these out. So before I go any further, what I am actually going to do, since I've got plenty of power steering fluid, is I'm going to flush the system. So I'm going to flush it all out and see if we can solve the problem just by replacing the power steering fluid. We don't know the last time it was changed, so what I'm going to do is this here unclips, this pulls out and your power steering fluid will come straight out. Make sure you're obviously disposing it the way you should as well. Right guys, so that's drained. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put some fresh in there just to flush it through and let it all drain all the way out. This basically gets rid of any old stuff and gives you more chance of the new stuff being in there instead of the old. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some in now. It's going to drain down in the bottom, as you can see, and then what we're going to do is we're going to top it all back up, connect it all, top it all back up, and just check it. If that doesn't solve the issue, then obviously we're going to go ahead and replace the power steering pump. So that's done. Also want to mention as well, make sure both sides are jacked up, because you are going to have to turn the engine on and turn the wheels as well. So safety first, just make sure you're using the axle stand. So I'm going to connect this back up, which is obviously here, and then I'm going to reattach this. This was removed just in case I needed to do the power steering pump, which is sat just there. However, if this fixes it, I won't need to remove it, so I'm just going to put it back up, bolt it in so this ain't just dangling everywhere, and it's not going to get in touch with that belt. So connect it up, refill it back up. Right guys, so she's been filled up to the min and max on this side. That sun is ridiculous. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn her on, let her run, do a turn to the left, turn to the right, and then see what the power steering fluid's like, and I'm going to top it up accordingly as well after that. So this just makes it so the actual bits go in the system, and it fills it to where it needs to be. So whilst that was happening, you'll probably see me walking backwards and forwards. Whilst that was going off, the power steering fluid all drained, so I was topping it up and continued to turn the wheels just to make sure it's all gone in the system. So there's plenty in there now. So what I'm going to do, turn it off, put the lid back on, and then I'm going to let it run for a little bit just to let that circulate. Now, I might not even have to replace the power steering fluid. As you could hear, the sound disappeared during that footage. So we'll see when it's down on the ground and whatnot. Like I said, I'll leave it running for a bit and then I'll get back to you guys. So that's all done. We've done all that. That's been replaced. The noise did disappear, but I've not had a chance to drop it down. However, we now have a second issue which I've found. The battery is flat. So I'm going to have to get some jump leads and jump starter and leave the battery to charge up a little bit. This could be a faulty battery, but the car has been standing for about 2 to 3 weeks, so this could actually be the reason. You know, it's one of them things, it's not a new car, so don't go into showroom mode like some of the newer ones. So what we're going to do now is go and fetch some jump leads and give this bad boy a jump. Right, so PXR to the rescue, just letting it tick over, charge the battery a bit, and then what I'll do is I'll put my foot on accelerator a little bit, keep it about 1,500 to 2,000 revs, just to charge this battery up. I'm going to give it a good 5-10 minutes, and just hopefully that fixes the issue. It may charge the battery, it may not. If it don't charge the battery, then we need to look at the battery issue. You might be like, well, why do you think it's a battery? Because the window was down, and when I tried to put it back up, it was going so slow I had to literally lift it up itself. So that to me says we're lacking power, and that is what gives us our power. It's sat for a little amount of time, as you can see here, battery light's on, so that to me is telling me that we have an issue with it just being a little bit flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it hooked up still. As you can see, it's just gone off, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it hooked up for a couple of minutes, and then what I'm going to do is disconnect the VXR and leave this running just for another 10-15 minutes to charge that battery up. If that battery don't charge up, then obviously that means we've got an alternator issue or a battery issue, because obviously it's not charging while it's on. So we'll come to that when we see it. While we're here, you guys are absolute legends. I've just had to move this, but this is why I love showing why things don't happen. It was just this, the button right here. So now, yeah. So now we have a window. So shout out to everybody that gave me an hand with that. This is why I love working on new cars and such, because these buttons, simple thing like that. Obviously the regulator and motor needed change because that had gone anyway, but still simple things like that you miss, believe it or not. So shout out to everybody that helped me with that. Thank you very much. So she's now charging a battery, but I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody that is liking, commenting and all that sort of stuff on these videos. When you're liking the video, it lets me know that you'll appreciate the content and like the content. I love doing YouTube, I love doing videos for you guys, and there is a lot of things on this channel that is going to be coming on it, and I mean a lot of things. I've got so many ideas, and this is just one of the start. You know, it's one of them things that you guys are a lot going to be engaged in. There's one thing I did want to ask you guys' opinion on this. Now, I've got this car for basically nothing, so do you think I should wrap this car? Now, when I say that, you might think, fucking hell, that's going to cost so much money. However, I can get the wrap for this car for about £150. So, do you think wrapping the car would add value to the car, or do you think we should just sell it as it is? Because the paintwork isn't the greatest. That wind, Jesus. So, you know, it's one of them things where I want your guys' opinion. Should we wrap it? Should we leave it? Should we sell it as it is? Do you think it would increase the value of it? Do you think we'd get money back? What do you think? What do you guys reckon? So it's another one of them things that I like your guys' opinion. And this series is basically us, me and you guys, and Jack, obviously when he gets his arse out in gear. But yeah, it's going to be basically one of them things where it's your opinions on stuff. I do put polls out on Instagram, so make sure you're following them. So I may put this as a poll as well. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is drop the car. So she's on the ground, so what we're going to do now is just double check that the sound has gone. We'll wait for obviously people to go by. Thank you very much. So as you can hear there's no sound whatsoever. So that means the actual flush and power steering fluid change has fixed our issue. So as you can see, it is completely quiet, Basically guys, as you could hear from that, we've fixed one of the issues, so that is a big thing off the list, and we didn't need the power steering pump. However, I'm going to duck down here because there's wind everywhere. So with the power steering pump, obviously it's not going to go to waste. So what happens is, if we get another Fiesta where we have an issue with the power steering pump, we already have the part, so that is still going to go on the list of parts that we spent for this car. So that is still 20 quid, we are down from that. So like I said, and I mentioned earlier, let me know what you guys think about wrapping the car and everything else. She's ticking over just to give that battery a bit of time to give that battery a time to charge up. So yeah, let me know if you guys are liking this content. That was a simple power steering flush. Obviously if it was a bigger issue, then we would have had to change the pump, but we didn't have to. So luckily that's the way some things go. So yeah, next video I think what we're going to do is replace that O2 sensor, try and get a cold air feed off of a car that's braking to replace that, and obviously we need to sort these wheels out as well. So as you can see here, they are pretty badly scratched. So if anybody's got a set of 4 normal Fiesta wheels, do let me know. If you do want a straight swap, but I'm telling you now, they are bad. Obviously we'll come to you on that. So the way we are going for this is we are trying to get this car ready for somebody who's just passed their test, and somebody that's obviously looking for a reliable car. That is the challenge with this. We want to make sure we are getting rid of these cars and they are all reliable. I do appreciate you guys watching this content, so like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Rude. Peace.